This is Real Talk with Brendan Bardick, where we'll be talking about the latest real estate strategies, scripts, top producing techniques, and everything you're going to want to know about how to be an elite real estate agent or real estate coach, or just a great business person. Welcome back to Behind the Hustle. I'm Brendan Bardick, and today we're going to be talking about morning mastery. Mastery. All right. And this has really been a game changer for me in how I look at every single day that I wake up. It's been a game changer for how much I've been able to learn, how much I've been able to develop my personal skills, my personal growth plan, and how it's basically overall made me just a lot more of a peaceful and, I feel, well-balanced person. So let me take you through it. Let's start with the M. So the M is for meditation. And I know you hear this and I hear it and I'm like, believe me, when I heard this, I was like, meditation, like that's not for me. I was like, you know what, I'm not into all of this, hippie, kind of stuff. But as I started to read more about it and I started to understand things a little bit more, I realized that if I could focus my mind and I could really clear out a lot of other things, then I would be able to do a lot more. And your brain is basically a muscle, right? It learns just as your arms do or your legs do. So I had to really start working on training my brain to focus on the things that matter, eliminate distractions, and that's helped me a ton in not only real estate, but all things that I've been dealing with in life. So first of all, meditation. Then the A is for affirmations. So meditation, I do for 10 minutes every morning. Then affirmations, I have 5 minutes of affirmations. So I sit here every single morning on this chair, just like I did today, and I go through my 10 minutes of meditation. Now, I use an app called the Calm app. It helps me out quite a bit with guided meditation. So I have that. Then I switch over to some music. I have my AirPods in, I have my phone right here. And then I start listening to, focus music is what they call it, I guess. And I start going through affirmations. So I have a personal list, some of my favorite affirmations, especially for real estate, when you're out there trying to sell at a high level, is today I'm going to set my next appointment. Today I'm going to set my next appointment. Today I'm going to get the listing agreement signed. Today my deal will get past inspection and everyone will be happy. Today this, today that, right? So I do a lot of what I want the outcome of today to be. I also do bigger affirmations, right? And not like this cheesy, like, hey, you're worth it and all this stuff. For me, it's already assuming what I want. So let's say that you wanted to be the number one agent in your office. So your affirmation would be, I'm the number one agent at XYZ company. I'm the number one agent on my XYZ team. You're already brainwashing yourself in a certain type of way to already dive into that cause. So that's a big one. So I am this. I am number one. I am, and be specific about what you want, right? Like, I am a great person. You can definitely do that affirmation. There's nothing wrong with that. But I like to try to get detailed specifics to train my brain for what the outcome I want that to be, right? So I'm the number one real estate team in Colorado. I'm the number one real estate team in Denver. I'm the number one agent in XYZ. So you can do those types of things. Now, if that's not what you want and those aren't your bigger goals, you can do whatever affirmations work for yourself. But remember, you're just assuming what you want to be the outcome. So affirmations, right? Then the S, so mastery, you've got scripts. So every single morning, right, you need to have an area, and again, you could pull out a piece of paper and go through your scripts and dialogues every single morning. So scripts. So you're going to have 10 minutes of meditation, 5 minutes of affirmations, 5 minutes of scripts, right? Then for the T, you're going to do thank you notes or thinking of you notes, right? So every single morning, I've set out to do 2 every single morning. So here in my chair, I keep a box and do this every single morning, right? In this box, I've got my stamps, I've got my note cards, I've got my stationery right here, right? and I go to work. I have a lot of mailing lists that I keep here in this little thing. So every single morning, I write out 2 handwritten note cards, thanking someone, giving gratitude, thinking of you, right? Anything that I just feel like, wow, that person's really been amazing. It could be a client, it could be somebody you work with, it could be your mom, your grandma, your cousin. So just think about that on a daily basis. I'm writing around every year about 700 plus cards, right? So depending on, if I take a day off or this or whatever. And people ask me that, do you take days off? Sometimes, yes. It's very few and far between because now I'm so excited about every morning. It's changed the entire way I look at everything. So the T, so MAST, is for thank you or thinking of you cards, right? Now, the next one, E, right? So exercise. So for me, it's an hour every morning in the gym, outside, depending on what workout I'm doing that day. So exercise. Now, you might not have an hour in your morning schedule. That's completely fine. Maybe you need to do a half hour. Maybe you need to do 20 minutes. Heck, maybe you need to do 10 minutes and you go, look, I'm just going to knock out 10 push-ups or whatever that looks like, right? So it can be different for every person, but what we're doing is we're consistently making a ritual here. We're making a habit, and we're adding on to each thing as we go through it. So the next thing is expected right after the last thing. All right? So E is for exercise. The R is for reading. Okay? So reading. So I'm not a big actual book reader. Now, I do have a book, The Daily Stoic, which has 366 meditations and wisdom and perseverance and all that. That's fantastic. But what I really do is I do that every day, but I also listen to books on tape. Every book, I've probably burned through, I think the other day I looked at it, somewhere across 350 books on Audible, not tape anymore, it sounds funny, books on tape, but Audible books. So every morning I'm listening to that, whether I'm in the car, whether I'm in the shower, whatever that might be, but I'm getting that book into my mind. And at any given time during the week, I'm probably going through at least 2 to 3 different books at any given time. So reading is a big one. And then the last one is the one that's really going to surprise a lot of people, which is YouTube. So YouTube has been a game changer for me in the fact that every morning in the gym, I used to watch, TV and ESPN, and I used to watch Netflix or whatever might be on at the time. And I made that switch up and I said, okay, if I could learn something every morning, and there's the most amazing teachers on YouTube, TED Talks, master classes, all for free. None of this stuff you have to pay for. Whatever it is that you're into, and of course I recommend real estate related things because you want to have success in real estate, but I've learned everything from, you name it, videography, editing, real estate tips, techniques, scripts, listing presentations, buyer consultations. Everything is there. How to have better profit, motivation, all kind of things, how to work with people, negotiations. It's all there from the best in the world for free on YouTube. So again, check it out. So mastery, Mastery, okay? Mastery. That's what we're moving towards in whatever that we're doing. So check it out. Again, thanks for joining me for Behind the Hustle. And as always, I wish you great success.